Hello everyone, welcome to Bread-a-licious. If you notice my kitchen's a little smoky right now, let's have a talk about your pizza stones or bread stones. So it's important to clean them regularly. Get a nice natural bristle brush, not the metal ones. You wet that and then you go in and you scrub it, see how smoke's coming out. You want to, after the bread cools, because this is going to happen to you, don't worry about that. But after the bread cools and you turn off the oven's going to take longer to cool. Those hot stones just radiate heat for hours. It's great in the wintertime because you have all that free heat to play around with. So, if it's a little chilly and you've been baking bread, well, you just leave, the oven door propped open a little bit and let the heat out. But that cornmeal backs up, you got to brush it off. I suggest lining the bottom of your oven with foil so you can simply take the foil out after the oven's been cooled and then reset it, okay? But today, after that nice smoky lesson, we have the West Virginia pepperoni roll, okay? Now, let me make sure I have this. Excellent. So the pepperoni roll uses another bigger, okay, and I have that mixing 5.8 ounces of bread flour, 3.5 ounces of water, and 1/8 teaspoon of yeast. That's a reminder. And then for our dough, you're going to need 1 pound, 10 ounces of bread flour, 15.7 ounces of water, 0.5 ounces of salt, 0.1 ounces of instant dry yeast, up 1 pound mozzarella block, and some pepperoni to your liking. For the sauce, I recommend getting an 8-ounce can of tomato paste and then a 12-ounce can of spaghetti sauce for our recipe, but you're welcome to use your own. There's just a few rules and I'll get to that, okay? Other than that, I'm gonna get this covering. Okay, so I cover that. Excellent. Now, today on the West Virginia pepperoni roll, let's go ahead and get the sauce started so that can be cooling, okay? I have it here, and mine is cooling, but I used regular spaghetti sauce, just a can of whatever, and then I add my own herbs to that. What is important is that it's only about 60% tomato sauce, 40% tomato paste. In baking, you don't want a watery sauce because it's going to go into the bread, as you'll see. That steam can sometimes not escape well. It can make your bread soggy. So you got to congeal this, simmer it, get that going, and let it cool. Next, we have to form our dough. And we have to build it. So once you add the bigger the next day to your pepperoni roll, and then you combine all those ingredients, you knead it, you fold, you put it in your bin, you do the fold an hour into it, let it rest another hour, and then you put it into your shape, okay? But I want to talk about how we shape. Let me get a little bit of flour on my table. That's always fun to do if you've never done that before. Alrighty. So I'm kind of going to get a rectangular form going, okay? Give yourself plenty of room to work with. You can kind of stretch it here, it's fine. Ain't going nowhere. And then I'm going to take the sauce, grab my spoon, I put the sauce in, not a lot, just a little bit. Then I take my cheese, nice healthy helping, and then as much pepperoni as I like. Just remember, you gotta wrap it. So you take the upper lip and you wrap this around, okay? Kind of like so. Seal those ends first. Kind of karate chop it. Roll, seal, roll, seal, roll, and then you roll that seam, and you seal it really good, tuck in the ends. Make sure you poke those really good. And then just do a nice little round shaping. And that's a new roll form for y'all today. So that's a fun, exciting time. Okay? And this one, we're gonna let go. And I have some proofing, but this is baker's cloth, okay? This allows it to proof. So as you can see, this is its original, that's what it goes to. But this is baker's cloth. You dust it with bread flour, rub it in so that the bread doesn't stick, and then you cover it and let it sit for an hour. Okay? And that's that. We're gonna let these rise a little bit, and then I'll be back to talk about this wonderful pieces of bread's history. Okay everyone, let's get this in the oven. I'm at 460, it's been preheating. Now, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I'm gonna do a pre-score. And I'm gonna do one loaf at a time. So I'm gonna do this line, ooh, then this line, then this line. Okay. Next, we're gonna put them in one at a time. So this is where you have to work fast. Place, cornmeal, place, place. Back, cornmeal, bread, then oven. So just be ready for that, pay attention to that. 3, 2, 1. I do a nice shimmy. Spread, grab from the bottom. Spread, grab from the bottom, kind of doing a roll. Bake, water, shut, 10-minute timer, okay? All right, so let's talk a bit about the pepperoni roll. It was invented in West Virginia by the Italian immigrants. This is a 1700, well, more 1800s, and it was a lunch primarily for the coal miners. Now, the challenge was, if you were a coal miner, and even coal miners today, sometimes when they're going into the mine, they can't come out of the mine for their lunch break. So there's a lunch break in the mine. Well, there's a lot of coal dust around. Those are not good for the body to ingest. So the Italian immigrants found a way to invent something called the pepperoni roll. And the reason we're covering this on an Artisan bread baking show is the ones that you get today are fairly soft rolls. But there was a reason behind the Artisan style that helped save the coal miner's life. So if you're a coal miner, you have not the best preventative care or wrapping. But this way, you could get some meat, cheese, some sauce, and some bread, all protein, and then you have this super outer crusty layer. Well, if coal dust got on that down below, it was a simple of peel off that outer crust layer, then take the bite of all the other goodness. So it was a way to peel off the crust layer and then still have a good meal without having to ingest any coal dust. And I thought that was a beautiful story, very inspiring. It's just, who has time to make artisan bread pepperoni rolls? Well, you gotta make time, but they're quite delicious. But you have to change how you think of today's sauce. So like as you saw, I got mozzarella, but I didn't get fresh mozzarella, I got blocked mozzarella. If you use fresh mozzarella, it's delicious, but it's too wet, it's too watery. Tomato sauce is great, but you have to combine it with tomato paste. You know, you can take the time to make a homemade tomato sauce and simmer it all the way down, but a tomato paste is a quick trick to give you a nice thick sauce that's tomatoey, that's baker friendly, okay? So after this steams, at the 10-minute mark, I'll de-steam it, and then I just open the oven slightly and shut it back, and then we'll go on for another 20 minutes. So total, you're looking at a bake time of 30 to 35 minutes depending on your oven at 460 degrees. So I'll be right back, y'all. Okay, So mine's a little ahead of time. I know I said 20 to 30 minutes. This one's closer to 18. So I'm gonna turn my timer off. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Alrighty. Cheese is gonna pop out. That's okay. That's ideal, everyone. And that is over. So, okay, perfect, kind of happens, okay? Oh man, if you could smell this kitchen, everybody. So this is the West Virginia pepperoni roll. Now, this made 3 pretty good sized loaves, but if you're a coal miner, you're gonna get it pretty much to work. So it actually makes 4, but what you can also do is if you want smaller ones, that's fine. So we cut the dough into quarters. In this case, it's a good amount of dough, so what you would do is then divide it into 8 individual pieces, make your even rectangles, and then do your pepperoni, cheese, and sauce. Oh man. So another thing too is, yeah, you get some cornmeal, a little burntness, that's okay. A slightly dark bottom is fine. Oh yeah, that's so good, everyone. So, but there you have it, the West Virginia pepperoni roll. And to show you what I was talking about, although it's gonna be hot, but I can deal with it. I'm a grown-up chef, as it were, but I am gonna cheat. I'm gonna grab a towel for this. So imagine you're an Italian immigrant coal miner working in West Virginia, you're in the mines. Well, if I can just peel this off, and that way I'm getting all that coal dust off, and I can totally eat my lunch throughout the day. So there you go, and there you have it, the artisan bread style of the historic pepperoni roll. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Bread-a-licious and this wonderful history of a very creative, ingenuitive food. Take care now. See you next time.